Hey everyone, Ahsoka here. Today we're going to be talking about Crisis on Infinite Earths, Part 4 and 5. So the episode starts, and it has been a couple of months later, and Oliver Queen is now Spectre, and his costume, his suit's kind of a little weird, but you know, we gotta keep in mind that they're on CW budget, so the Paragons are just like all kind of freaked out, and a lot of stuff happened, so they kind of basically lost hope and they're all shooketh. So there's that. A couple of things happen, and some of the team members are stuck in the Speed Force in some events that had some impact in their lives. And then a lot of stuff happens, but the one that I really want to talk about is the scene that really did a lot, did a number on me, and it was the Flash crossover. Because get this, guys, Ezra Miller's Flash shows up. I'm not kidding. The DCEU's Flash shows up in the CW's crossover. I geeked out a little bit because like it was so much. No matter how you feel about Ezra Miller's Flash, that was a huge surprise for me. It was like when Lucifer showed up and no one knew that he was gonna show up, and when he did, everyone was blown away. At least I was. I don't know about you guys. We get a little bit of an emotional moment when Barry learns the truth about Oliver's fate, because he finally learns what happened in the last crossover, that Barry and Kara were supposed to die, but then Oliver traded his life so they could live for the next crossover and save the multiverse, so Oliver would die in their stead. It was a very emotional scene because I always thought that Barry and Oliver had a huge bromance going on, and I thought they were adorable together as friends, and these two episodes kind of highlighted that, and I thought it was great. Too bad he's dead now, right? Something else hilarious happens is that we finally get a little bit of a showdown between Supergirl and Lex Luthor. I don't know how you guys feel about this Lex Luthor, but I think he's great. He's hilarious, and he's not the best Lex Luthor because that's the one from Smallville, but I think he's just great. He's evil in a fun way, and I think that's something new and amazing that we kind of deserve in these sort of okay-ish GW shows. Then near to the end of the episode, we see Oliver Queen's Spectre versus the AntiMonitor. And a lot of stuff is happening, but you know, because this is a superhero thing, there has to be a sky beam, because why not? They kind of rip off a little bit of that scene in Avatar: Last Airbender, where both Aang and the Fire Lord get like glowy eyes and mouth, and they just stare into the sky. Then, as you all probably know by now, Oliver dies again. This time apparently, at least from what it seems, definitely. You know, he's gonna stay dead, I think. I don't know. We see a scene with Barry and Sara kind of talking to him with his last words, and it's just very emotional because both of them had a very close relationship with Oliver, and it's just sad seeing him go, you know, because he's getting a hero's death, but at the same time he has a family and his friends, and it's just a lot. So the next episode starts, and you would think that everything would be fine by now because Oliver basically gave his life to save the multiverse, but things are a little bit different. I'm sorry, I'm laughing too much because this next part is hilarious. Lex Luthor, I'm not kidding about this, Lex Luthor gets a Nobel Prize for Peace. A Nobel Peace Prize. I'm not kidding about this, guys. I wouldn't make this up. I thought it was hilarious and I laughed my ass off. I couldn't stop laughing. Then it seems that whatever happened made all the heroes that we know and love live in the same Earth. So that was kind of tricky because only the Paragons knew what had happened. So they were the only ones knowing that this is totally weird and wrong. And I thought it was a little bit hilarious and cute when Flash and Supergirl were just hanging out, and then an old man came to ask for their for their autograph in the picture that he had of them, and he was like, "Oh, you guys team up all the time," and I was like, "What? This is hilarious!" And it was adorable, because I think that Kara and Barry are just great friends, and they have this huge chemistry, this friendship going on. I think is great. Then the Martian Manhunter, he just basically goes around to the heroes' friends and the people that they trust to put their memories back, to, you know, make them realize that this is wrong, this is not how it's meant to be. And at the same time, this episode was hilarious. At the same time, we get Bebo attacking a city. A huge ass Bebo, a fluffy little blue beast attacking a city. I'm sorry, I'm laughing too much, right? So Bebo is attacking the city, and Rory is kind of pissed because in this universe he apparently finally got one of his books published under the name Rebecca, and I thought it was hilarious because he is a good writer for what it seems, and it's kind of nice knowing that he got some recognition and he's doing what he loves, but he's still getting that badass appearance, and it's kind of cool. And then he gets super pissed because his book signing gets kind of interrupted because Bebo is attacking the town. And then, you know, all the heroes are trying to stop Bebo, but then they realize that that's not natural and that someone is behind it. And apparently it was this wizard guy that he was robbing a bank and used Bebo as a distraction. And they were like, dude, Bebo is off limits. Moving on a little bit towards the end of the episode, I thought this scene was really great, where Sara was just alone and then Barry finds her, and she's just really missing Oliver because he was one of the last people that remembered her before everything that has happened, before she became the person that she is today. And Barry kind of gives her a speech that, to me, it just hit too close to home, that he was telling her that family isn't just your blood relatives. Family is the friends and people that you make along the way that are close to you and are there for you anytime you need them. And I thought that was great. And then after that cute speech, Barry gets attacked by a shadow demon, which apparently they're back. And the AntiMonitor is back, so, you know, the super friends have to team up and fight the shadow demons, aka the mentors, and fight the AntiMonitor again, hopefully for the last time. What happens is that the smart people of the group come up with a solution that it's basically turning the AntiMonitor into super small, like the Atom turns himself super small, and he will be basically shrinking and shrinking for eternity. That way they wouldn't have to deal with him, but, you know, it's the best solution that they've come up with. Which was, I thought was pretty great, I guess. Then, while all of that is happening, Black Lightning comes back. Hooray! I thought it was great. I love Black Lightning. And it's really great seeing him in the crossover, which means, you know, that he's gonna be a big part of the Super Friends again, and I think it's great. I just love Black Lightning. I think he's a really great character, and the show is really great, and I think a lot more people should be watching it, honestly. So it's the final battle, and there's this scene that I thought it was kind of hilarious, but, you know, sentimental at the same time, because, like, Sara is like, for Oliver! Then all the heroes are like, for Oliver! And they just charge into AntiMonitor to defeat him. So basically the AntiMonitor becomes even bigger than he already was, and he's just huge. And Barry comes back with this bomb that will basically make their plan work, and Superman is getting crushed, and Kara was about to rescue him and basically give her life for him. And then the Atom shows up flying and he's like, you gotta throw this. And then the Atom is like, throw it like a girl. And Supergirl is like, always. And I was like, this is amazing. Because, you know, people always say, you throw like a girl, you punch like a girl. And you see it in a mean way. But the Atom and Supergirl are like, yes, it is a good thing. It is a good thing to throw like a girl. Especially if she's goddamn Supergirl. So the episode is ending, and basically what happens is that even though our favorite heroes are stuck in the same Earth, which is called Earth Prime, and I think it's great. I think it's great that we're finally going to be able to see them together more often. But that doesn't mean there isn't a multiverse anymore, because there is. And this is great, this is awesome, because the multiverse that exists now is the one where there's an Earth with Titans, where there's an Earth with Doom Patrol, where there's an Earth with Stargirl and her friends, where there's an Earth with Green Lanterns, and there's an Earth where Kingdom Come Superman exists. I was just kicking out over this scene because I as a fan of comic books and all of these characters, I thought it was great that we're finally going to be able to see them all together. I was just freaking out a lot and I thought it was great. That being said, to me the best part of this crossover was the end, where, you know, the heroes are in the Hall of Justice. And first of all, Hall of Justice, awesome, right? And then they're mourning Oliver, and they have his suit there on display, and everyone just gives like a sentimental goodbye to him, and it's just amazing and sad at the same time. And then Barry, being Barry, he just tells him, hey guys, this is gonna be our new site for when stuff happens and goes wrong, because, you know, we can't just go to the DEO anymore, because Lex Luthor owns it. And Black Lightning was like, wait, but how many times does the world almost end? And everyone was like, oh honey, you'd be surprised. And then this badass scene where Barry just shows them the Heroes Roundtable. And I was geeking out all over because it's straight from the comics and the animated shows and movies, and I was just freaking out all over because it was this round table with the Justice League symbol, and then each hero had their own share with their own symbol in the back, and I thought that was great. And Black Lightning was like, oh, you should have laughed at that, and I was like, right? It was great. And that's basically how the episode ends and how the crossover ends, and I thought it was great. I thought the crossover started a little bit, you know, not so great because this is CW, but I thought that they ended in the strong note, and that was great for me. I hope that from now on we get to see the heroes team up a little bit more often. Maybe instead of just once a year, maybe like twice a year in smaller crossovers. That would be great. Especially if we got to see Black Lightning interacting with the other heroes. That would be great. He's just a badass character, and I always loved him as a member of the Justice League. I thought that he was great. So now that we finally have the Justice League of the CW, I think it would be great if we got to see that. So these were my thoughts on the end of the crossover. As you guys can clearly tell, I was geeking out all over because this was my shit. I was just having a blast. I'm a huge comic book fan, I'm a huge geek, and seeing all the heroes together was just amazing for me. I was having a blast. That being said, I hope you guys let me know in the comments below how you felt about this crossover, because I really want to know how everyone, if you guys enjoyed it or not, what were your thoughts on it. If you would have done anything differently, I probably would have, at least in the earlier episodes. So I guess that's it for now. Stick around and I'll see you next time.